Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on whereabouts you are in the world. I hope you're having a phenomenal day so far, and welcome to today's stream where we're playing some Supermarket Simulator. We're just going to jump into our supermarket now. So let's make sure the game's actually showing. Pro gamer move here. There we go. So, this is our supermarket. We've just expanded our range in our last stream. So we've now added more beer and alcohol, although we do need another bottle of wine. So we'll try and get that picked up. And let's drop off any of these spare boxes out here for now. We've got Nout in them. So, our aim for today's stream is going to be to get ourselves another product license or two. I think we probably go for this one next, the cheese and stuff. Hey, Rune's in, Laz and Cookie, how are you all doing? So, first, let's pay all our bills off. And we'll do a quick restock and then crack on. So... Oh, I think we've already got some stuff on there. Yep. Okay, well, let's... Oh, we are going to be much broke. Very yes, because we're deepening our stock there. So we do have some shelf space free for this. We can go in there. We sell much of this? Not really, but I'll put some out anyway. Trying to sort out our stockroom shelves so they make a little bit more sense. Gonna take those two off there. We might have to grab more thess soon. There we go. That can go in there. More wine. This are bottled beer shelves now. Where are we going? There, that'll do. You see, Les watched Pirate 2 yesterday. Nice. Let's chuck that in there. Stick that all in there and in there. There we go. So I'm just trying to make sure our soda, which makes up most of our money in terms of sales, is all stocked up, and spending an absolute fortune stocking up our new wines and stuff. And we've also need to stock up our cheese. So we're going to have probably a couple of rough days of just about getting by for stock, and then we should be able to start building out again. Hey Brax, welcome, welcome. How are you? Mr. Skinner to the manager's office, Mr. Skinner. Lovely to have you here, Brax. Ruzi says, be looking at this game, but not fully convinced it's early access. Right, it is early access. They have made some nice quality of life changes already. It's only available through Steam. There's no way you can pick up the game to support the channel. So there is literally no incentive for me to get guys to pick this up. But I'm quite enjoying it. And it was picked up for me by Wagley, full disclosure, which I think she thought it would be funny for me to play this because I have been a retail consultant for quite a lot of my career. That can go in the pile of shame at the bottom because we've overstocked on that. What an expensive thing to overstock on. Also, Wagley tends to quite like the sim games. I think we did the Barista Simulator before. And I have got another game to play after this, but I'm going to try and max level this supermarket. But like the quality of life things are small things so far, like this. Checkout closed. Where before you were ending up with this kind of having to run from one lane to the other. So if you put out an extra checkout so you could serve customers faster, the downside was that you would just keep getting pinged by customers all the time. Just like real retail. Where are the crab sticks? Might need to get another thing of crab sticks. I'm just having a look around before we open. I need 2 of those and 1 of those. And that tends to sell out pretty quickly, so we'll add 2 of those. There are definitely some things that you have to keep an eye on all the time playing this, though, because they sell out constantly. Do a cereal restock tomorrow. That's bleach, so that can go in there. Alright, so we're going to need some crab sticks who are actually out in the stock room and 5 boxes of potatoes. If we can afford that. There you go. We'll put these away quickly, and then we should be able to do 2 or 3 days pretty quickly on the trot. Do need to check our pricing. The pricing will change on a couple of things. I have not checked that recently at all. Hey, Mark. Watching over on YouTube, much appreciated. We do some tactical storekeeping. We are indeed. I'm hoping at some point we'll be able to store the Tic Tacs and we'll have an unlimited amount. Do they have road maps, those runes in? They have when you log in. Hang on. Let's quit to menu. They've got a list of all their upcoming stuff. So they have some ideas about what they're doing next. It looks like they're introducing self-service checkouts. They're going to be introducing different fittings. They're going to be introducing shoplifting and shrinkage. Alternative suppliers. So it sounds like they've got some real ambitions for getting features put together in the game. And we'll have more features that will be recognizable to someone that has worked in retail. I think as you move on, they're probably going to also have to do something about like cages or pallets or letting you have more stock people, because during the day, like I could probably do restocking all day, some of the busier days, and still not make a dent in it. No loyalty program. Well, depends how creepy you want to be, Mark. Like Dunhumby levels of creepy, or do we want to go creepier than that?
Trying to find that gold. Sipping on the bottle, got the next round. Mommy wanna get it in the test ride. Feeling like you lifted with the best right here. Yeah, keep killing the shit. Yeah, getting cold feet, baby, I'm out. Stepping on my always ready to fall. Call me when you wanna, baby, blow my phone. Hey, say less if you're ready, let go. You and your friends got a party at my place. Just bring all your girls, shawty. I can hardly wait.
There we go. Right, sorry guys, can you hear me now? There we go. So I don't know how much of me was muted there. I had a microphone issue. I do apologize. So it would be cool to see demographics. Mark, yes, I'm away tomorrow. And there is also a vote up for Tactical Tuesday, where you could choose which games you'd like to play after Northgard. Which Northgard will be 5 PM BST, and there has been a change relative between UK and US time. And depending on how close we want to Skype to the wind here, we can leave it a few days before we do a really big restock. There are some things that we probably are going to have to restock irrespective of our cunning plan. Things like bleach we tend to sell quite a lot of because it's a bulky item that not a lot fits on the shelf. Lots of people buying ham today. Hey, Timic. Vodka and sushi for dinner. That's what we like to see. Also, hey Doc, how are you? We're definitely going to need more bleach and more chips by the looks of things. And more cereal. You know, we'll close this checkout. If people want to queue, they can queue. I'll sort the water out over here, and then we'll get... You're going to wait for a song that has pivot in it. I was just thinking that... You and I may be more alike than we would like to admit, Mark. Pivot! Probably before a bass drop, right? 3 lots of I'm just checking. This area is one of the areas we're most likely to run out of stuff for. So sushi and bleach. Has everyone checked out? Oh, out of a product there. Steak, soda, and milk 6-pack. Alright, we're still okay for most of that stuff. I'm just trying to spot the gap. Please mind the gap between our range. So let's get sushi up.
Your first line is, my name is Claude, so just repeat after me. Je m'appelle Claude.
We've got fries there. Eggs will need to get sorted, but let's get the basics up. Oh, bleach as well, wasn't it? Wasn't entirely terrible. We're having 5,000 left at the end of the day, which, I mean, we haven't done our restock, so you know. We're running super low on some cheese there as well. So we need tuna. Oh, yes. Just making sure that I'll go and do a quick walk of the shop floor in a second, and then we should be able to just open. Because what I've been doing is every time we're going to expand our range, I've been spending a few days kind of strengthening our stock. So we've got a lot of depth of stock, and then slowly got the new range, or the new license, because we need to spend, I think, 13,000 on a license now for the new products. Oh, is that? Ah, well, we've got more rather than less. That's fine. That beer. Okay, let's put these away. The problem we've got now is no matter how many more ranges we add, we don't get any more stockroom space. So we're going to have to be pretty careful about how we use our shelving. Oh yeah, the storeroom's at max upgrade mark. G'day Sol, how are you? This I can do while the shop's open, the running back and forth with those. That, go there, that frees up that shelf. Oh, we're out of mozzarella. That was overflow stock, that tag can go. So mozzarella, tabs and bleach. That was overflow stock. Really what I should be doing, if you want to be super efficient, is rotate the boxes. So instead of just dumping the new box on top of the old, take the old one off the shelf, like this. Put that on the floor a wee second, put the new one below, and then put the old one back on top again. So that means you're not going to end up with ends of boxes, because there's still like one left in the box below, so you can store more in your stock room. You started dipping your toes into the wonderful world of e-commerce. Help. Well, how's that going for you? Something I have done professionally for a few years. Get a couple of kegs and mozzarella. Let's just stock up 6 deep. One now we've spotted there's a problem. Yeah, I think outside of putting the mozzarella out, we'll just check that's actually out. Nope, it's fine. So we'll drop that in here and we'll hit the open. So the rest can be doing things at the same time as we're doing the restock. You're getting increasingly sure you don't want to. Yes. I can also understand that. I think there are lots of guides online, or people that sell courses online, talking about how easy e-commerce is and how you can do it as a side hustle and the reality is that it's not. And you're going to have to deal with all of the challenges that the wonderful members of the public come up with for you as well. And also just outright fraud is a fairly major issue in e-com. and one that you don't have a huge amount of protection from, because consumer protection laws are abused quite a lot by scammers. Which isn't to say the consumer protection laws shouldn't exist. They absolutely should. But it can make for some very expensive lessons. Mark says the storeroom Wagley certified. Not yet. So there is actually, I might want to do some moving around inside the storeroom, but there is actually method to the madness of the layout of the storeroom. Based on the level of stock density required. Is that the new Volker we've just sold again? I think that's the old one. So, for bulkier items, I'm trying to start to put a significant amount more stock out front. So it requires less restocking time. Jeez, we really were. I'm going to get another box of vodka, I think. They really had decimated that. And I'm trying to keep a rough check on the sales as well. I have a feeling that dude is about to... Ooh, that's a problem. I have made a mistake. When restocking... Oh, we were dangerously close to being out there. So I'd put two types of the same flour on the shelf rather than having double facings. And didn't catch it. Decimated, they bought 1 in 10 bottles. Indeed. Which left us with very few at the back. 3 eggs. 3 eggs. Let's do eggs. Yeah, those Roman shoppers buying all our wine. It's to teach the other Roman shoppers a lesson. Have been buying 1 in 10 bottles of wine. The problem is we would probably also need to check coffee's one of the things we're vulnerable to run out of. We are running out. Loo rolls we're looking okay on, but we're going to have to do another order soon. We're out of mayo. Oh no. Well, the idea is, Mark, hopefully, that we get a decent depth of stock. So we have to order lines less often. So I'm trying to make sure we absolutely fill the shelves for things that we are replacing. Unless they are super expensive things. If I could spell, I'd be dangerous. There you go. I've got my first thing in the morning order ready because you can only add 10 items to your cart. Let's open the checkout and help out. Next, please. Physics says, yeah, it's just spelling that holds you back from being dangerous. Sure, we buy that. Well, if you like to buy things. Oh, we got some more samples through today as well. Talking of e-commerce-y stuff. Carradine says, you'd absolutely run an e-commerce business as a side hustle with minimum budget. Easily? No. Profitably? In theory. You could also win the lottery in theory, and the quickest way to make money is usually to work for someone else. Like, literally, though. Because you're guaranteed an income doing that. Maria, I feel like my expectations are reasonable. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. As long as you're happy doing what you're doing or you're finding it interesting, bud. Because I think what a lot of people forget in their maths is like more generally in specialist retail, and I've run specialist retailers, that you have to have super strong margins and you ideally want unique products. And the more specialist retail that you're in, so I was in crafts retail, the higher the margins need to be to keep the lights on. And the biggest problem we used to see that like damaged the whole industry was new people would come in, not understand anything about retail, and be like, oh, it would be lovely to run a craft shop in my spare time. And then proceed to just discount everything. And if you're left discounting as the only thing you're going to add to... right, chicken, milk, and black tea. Let's do the black tea first. So yeah, what they would effectively do is kill the market for themselves. Which... they would then get to a point, like it was a really depressing recurring problem where you would go to these people that spent so much money, like their pension, on opening a store. They go, well, I don't get it. I mean, we've been doing loads of sales, but we've got less and less stock. It's because you're selling at a loss. For stockers. If you're only good at retail, you wouldn't be a consultant. Those who can't do, those who can't... those who can't do... I think you mean those who can do, those who can't teach, and those that can't even teach consult. Too close to home. No, MSRP is for a reason you play around with it, but disregard it is just stupid. Yeah, and there's different ways that you can bundle. Like, Burger King destroyed the value of a lot of their key proposition because they just discounted core products too hard. Whereas if you look at... not Jack in the Box. Taco Bell. Taco Bell designed all products to be sold profitably at a lower price point. Burger King just discounted their core products, which then meant that people, instead of thinking of the Whopper as their premium burger, thought, well, if I'm not getting 2 Whoppers for $3, I'm being ripped off. And you can absolutely do things on price, but only if you're making it sustainable. So a deal I used to do with suppliers regularly was... I would go to a supplier and say, hey, what makes it cheaper for you to supply me? Is it ordering in outers so it's easier to pick? Is it ordering in inners because you'd prefer to have more stock left over? Is it ordering a couple of weeks in advance of when I want the goods? so that you're not constantly running low on stock. Because in some markets you can abuse the market a little bit. If you, for example, wanted to... if you were selling a product that the entire market is fairly small for... there we go. That's back in there. We'll get that fully stocked. So, say you were selling pens, and they were expensive pens individually, something like alcohol pens, and the UK distributor only held about 36 of any one colour in stock. Well, if you wanted to be the only one selling those pens in bundles, what you could do is just pick a different colour every week on whatever they've got the least stock of and buy them completely out of stock of it. Then all your competitors can't sell a bundle with all the things in because they're not available because you bought them all. So if you want to be unscrupulous, suppliers won't love you for it. There are ways of giving yourself a market advantage there that is very difficult to deal with, because what's the supplier going to do? Because most products in a smaller consumer market don't sell enough for them to stock hundreds of every item, because they're stocking thousands of items at a distribution level. Which one's this? Purple. I thought it was. Had a brain fart there. He buys up all the cheese to stop other people. I may have misunderstood that. Yeah, and it's going to depend from market to market, but things like forward ordering can help. Consolidating couriers can help. So I used to import vast amounts from the US. So my costs would be significantly lower because I would use a proper freight forwarder, whereas other people of the same scale didn't know that was a thing that existed. And a freight forwarder, all they do is they take all of the packages you're ordering and consolidate them into one package, or one, in my case, LCL, less than container load, and ship it over as one. Or we'll take it all and put it into, repack it so it takes up less volume if you're going to air freight it. Which saved me a very, very significant amount of money. Which meant that if I wanted to play around with that as a discount, that's something you can do. That's not steak, that's ham, before I make that mistake. And no, I actually really want to get back into running a retailer at some point, Physics. I exited from the retailer that I was a part of, and then got dragged into a few consulting projects in a row. And I love retail as a thing to run. I mean, the downsides are the hours are miserable, and unless you are at a point you can get to a decent market position, or you're creating lots of your own products that are exclusively yours, the margins are awful. But I really enjoyed it. Bleach, cleaner, cheese. So I enjoyed doing the theatre of retail, which is unfortunately something a lot of retailers are going to be in trouble for a while, because they don't understand that a lot of the existing retailers think that just having product on a shelf means that you are a good retailer. That is not true. That is the bare minimum table stakes. What you really want to have is, let's put that back there, and then I can't take that front one off. You really want to give people a reason to come visit you, because you're competing against others that can absolutely crush you on price. The reason it's a bad idea to compete on price, because frankly, Amazon will win that fight. And not even with their own money, just with other people that are too dumb to realize that they are losing money on every sale they're making. And in the meantime, people trading from home, selling on Amazon, which is a completely legitimate business, not getting at anyone, but they don't have the overheads of a retail storefront and all of the tax that comes with. And Amazon don't have the estate costs and tax that come with a standard retail storefront either. I have indeed, Mark. Hit me up when you earn your first million then. Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck, bud. I really enjoy retail. And one of the reasons I got into the consultancy side was because I got fed up of doing the other side of the consultancy, which was taking retailers that hadn't learned their lessons and dissolving some of their assets, or what are known as non-apparent assets. So stuff that's not stock, like you know how much you paid for the assets on the shelf, but there's some stuff that's more specialist to get rid of. Like, for example, when this store inevitably goes bust, all of the fridges, the shelving, you'll often see retailers that go bust with all of this stuff left behind, because they don't, like, no one's going to come off the street, or are unlikely to come off the street and go, you know what I want 6 fridges that are all connected together using one compressor to be energy efficient. Yeah, I'll take those out. I definitely have the expertise to be able to remove those safely from your store. And also stuff like compactors and safes. That the number of times I have been dealing with a store clearance, it's not work I do any longer, but I've been dealing with the store clearance, and people are like, oh yeah, I'll buy the safe. I'm like, you do realize how big the safe is and how much it weighs, and there are stairs and it's bolted into the floor, and for that reason there is virtually no resale value. And there would always be some confident person, oh yeah, I'll definitely remove it. I was like, do you run a safe company? Do you have any expertise? No, you just have a mate and the two of you think you can lug it up the stairs. Cool. Didn't mean start a new retail rant. I apologize. Retail rant is all on me, bud. It is in general, I know a small amount about a lot of things, because that's what I have historically been dealing with, is like general consulting. Retail and payments are two things that I know a vast amount about. So, given any opportunity. I made a mistake there, but that's okay. Grab those in. Right. That looks fine. Need more bleach, but that's kind of every day. We'll do more cheese, so one bleach. Retail rant, says Darren. Hey, look at the bright side. At least like my retail rants are something that people won't have thought about, but I'm more likely to have experienced than my rants about the levels of availability of experienced Scala developers. If they gave me the option, absolutely. Although I believe we established Waggly Butts were a chain of coffee shops, no? And apologies, I'm not coming through very well today. I am dealing with the tail end of a minor case of the dreaded lurky, so... We've found 3 candidates out of 47 applicants, and for varying reasons, they couldn't move forward. You manage a food service retail in your 20s. The owner was huge on inventory. The inventory is cash, too much inventory is waste, but he'd be fine with running out of simple non-perishables like cups, plasticware, etc. Oh my word. Walk up with a place so everything was to go. He hated I always had one box all that in reserve, but happily stopped to buy to take it when another store ran out without reimbursing my store for the inventory loss. It all comes out of my pocket. Yeah, but it affects my numbers. Right? Apprenticeship unreasonable for a Scala developer? No, it's not unreasonable. It's just not what we're looking for at the moment. We are likely to start... we're likely to start looking for juniors at some point. At that point, a lot of the challenges go away because the problem isn't the availability of Scala developers in themselves, to be fair. The problem is that... oh, that's sushi. Need 2 of... honestly, the bigger problem is that when you're looking for a senior developer, you're looking for someone that can develop others. So you're looking for, and also looking for someone in a small team that can fit into that small team. And problem solve on their own. So if a client comes to us with a particular problem, that they will be able to go and build it on their own without needing another developer's input. Much as we always have, all of the developers are able to talk to each other. Really, what we're looking for is someone that could be put in a project meeting with a client, understand the requirements, pull together their requirements document, or work with the one that's been put together by the clients, and develop based on our existing infrastructure something for that client. So it's a far more complex ask than just like, hey, we just need someone that can code. And one of the biggest problems we're actually having is, so we do live coding interviews, and the amount of developers that can't code they're applying for jobs is interesting too. So our interview process, there's some tech firms that do like a multi-month process. Ours is only 3 interviews. So the first interview is to introduce who we are and what we do, because you cannot find public information on us. So it's not fair to expect someone to go through an interview process without there being plenty of information about who we are, what we do, and our expectations. Vodka's out again. And then the second interview is a live technical interview, which is checking your technical skills with live coding. And some of the candidates are like, well, what if we don't want to do a live interview? Like, then that's cool. This position's not for you. Because there are a lot of people that are trying to use ChatGPT to code. And the problem is ChatGPT operators don't understand what's working and why. You need an in-depth knowledge of the code base. And yeah, that was exactly what they're hoping, so. Physics said it did run pretty tight on perishables that knew my clientele pretty well, so rarely ran out of anything, especially not the favourites. In fact, the store I took over was in the red, and a year was making 250k in the 90s. He still didn't listen to me on anything. Also fought me on paying staff to stay over 2 or 3 hours on Sunday, scrub down the entire storefront, pull the machines away and all. Managed the prep staff, had to do that in the back kitchen every day. Yeah, like, that's the thing, that it's the wrong lesson that manager had listened to, Physics. Because they're right, like, stock is money. But also, the opportunity cost is enormous on not having core basics. Because if I'm coming in for lunch today and you don't have the right amount of sandwiches, so I really wanted your chicken and bacon sarnie, that was it, all I cared about, and you don't have it, I'm not going to buy 2 tomorrow because I didn't have my lunch today. It's a permanent opportunity cost. So you do need to, by all means, balance your stock, but lager keg and turco soda. But yeah, if you run out of, like you say, if you run out of flatware, then you stop making money on everything. It doesn't matter how much everything else you have. Brad can say sometimes I don't understand why Kodo wrote works and why. I mean, don't get me wrong. All of us have prayed to the tech gods at some point. When, like, why is that not validated 4 times and now it has? Why is it running now? But if you don't have even the most basic of fundamental knowledge about the platform you're using, and that's going to be one of the big issues, is like ChatGPT is going to cause so many more security problems because people don't understand what it is they're doing with it. And that is, that'll do. That's not a huge problem if you are doing some little software project for yourself and it doesn't collect any or hold any personal information ever. Cool. If the second you're doing something that's going to hold any sort of critical information, not understanding why the chatbot's done a particular thing or what the problem is with it is just, yeah. It's going to be a very bad time for everyone. And you're going to see so many more data breaches. Might just have to... Oh, will that fit in that pile of shame there? It will. We'll just put it there instead. Cobain Rich. I don't doubt it, Physics. Like... It is rough keeping an eye on all the figures to make sure that you're not holding on to too much stock of any one item. Prosciutto. Still not out of that. Potatoes. And green toilet roll. Prosciutto, potatoes. Toilet roll in here. There we go. And sorry, I missed an earlier bit, Sol. The yeah, extra junior dev is not ideal because they're not going to be able to do any of that. So actually, instead of getting us more productivity, like the reason so many dev jobs ask for years of experience is because it's not because they actually care about the years of experience. It's them making the point that you really need to know your stuff in these particular languages. You could be a useless dev with years of experience, but you need to be good at what you're doing. And if you are taking on a junior dev, effectively you're writing off maybe a third to half of a senior dev with it, which is why so many companies keep asking for senior devs only. Where they think the junior devs will magic themselves from in a few years' time when they've not developed any of their developers. And my developers on average have worked with me for, I think, 7 years. So we have taken them from junior to mid to high. That's so expensive. Just in hours. Which is a good thing to do. Oh, spotted another one that we're out of, and then we should be able to open. But yeah, if you're desperate for extra resource for a project, the only thing worse than not having another dev is having a junior dev. And it's not because they're bad people, it's just because now not only is the developer overworked, which is the reason that you wanted to bring on another dev in the first place, but they're also having to stop to have discussions about why things work in particular ways and spend much larger parts of management time on helping develop that person, because otherwise what's the point in hiring a junior dev at all if you're not going to help them develop in their career? Keg and vodka, that was the other two. And like, it's one of the things that I've worked on teams before that absolutely freaking hated it when the management like, if we give you 4 more developers, how much faster could you do this? And you're like, I don't know, it will take us maybe a year longer than we've quoted you, because we're going to have to bring on those 4 developers, even if they're experienced developers, and explain what our platform does, how we've built it, why we're doing it this way, all of the libraries that we're using for this project specifically. Explain to them politely that really we don't give a flying as to what they did in a previous role or anything else, because we're doing it this way for a reason. And then just get them to being productive. Like a senior dev joining a team on its own will typically take 3 months before they do more work than they take up a senior dev's time. So you always see when you hire more people a drop in productivity. As soon as you are hiring a junior dev, that wasn't what I meant to do. As soon as you hire a junior dev, that kind of expands to maybe a year to a year and a half before that junior dev will actually do more work than they are taking up of a senior dev's time. So they're actually adding value to the team. And also, you're not only taking away from a senior dev, but your QAs are going to have to work so much harder. And it's all those kind of hidden costs that I think management can lose sight of. And like, well, I gave you 4 more devs. You're like, yeah, you gave me shed loads more work and maybe interview them. So even more work to then get to a point that I could just about get back to the work I was doing several months ago. At my last place, we had a good success of bringing in inexperienced people through apprentices, but part of that you had to build in time for managers to mentor the apprentice. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you can't bring on an apprentice and then just magically expect them to get better. That's not how anything works. And like, it's a really common problem for companies is well, we hired these apprentices and they're not doing any better. And you're like, well, how many hours of dedicated time did you give them? How many training courses did you send them on? How many code reviews did you sit and do with them? Was their mentor in the same place? And that's one of the biggest problems working from home is working from home as a junior dev may seem like a good plan, is going to be god awful for your career prospects and you ever getting to be a senior. And the problem is that actually, if you're a senior dev, work from home freaking rocks. I've just made a mistake. Oh no, I haven't. There we go. Because you're a senior dev, you know what you're doing. It's like senior HR people, senior writers. Like, they are so much more productive at home because they're not being bothered by other people. The problem is that those other people that were bothering them are probably being significantly less productive because they're not getting the answers they need, or they're waiting in an email queue, and things are happening that you would not want to happen as that senior person. I wonder when I worked with commented on how nice I looked yesterday. I was insulted because I forgot to put my clothes in the dryer, so I was wearing bottom drawer jeans and free work hoodie. I hate hoodies and sweaters. I get too hot, I always wear tees. Yep. Reasonable. Working on a project at the moment for a team where they've estimated how productive someone is based on how long they've been doing the job and how productivity of their mentor is impacted. That's interesting. You applied for a coding apprenticeship and got redirected to help desk hardware, shipping and packaging, generally everything else position, which I took because I was under pressure to work. That sucks, bud. I think there are, like, genuinely not very many apprenticeship level positions around anywhere, because they're always the stuff that gets cut first. And there are apprentices in the trades, but development, like, there have now been more job cuts in IT than the .com crash. That's kind of how rough it is out there. So the chance of people paying to take on and develop new talent in that, in this timeline with that borne in mind, is pretty low. And it really isn't a reflection of talent, it's a reflection of priorities for companies. And the other pipeline to people getting into development... I just yeet this. Every so often a packet gets stuck on you. I'm going to put it there for now. I'll take it out later, but... Tabs. That's what I was doing. Yeah, so it's really rough out there because the other pipeline for people to learn development and get not corporate, but actual work experience in development is when startups are well funded. They're not great places. You'll pick up a lot of bad habits and have a lot of stress. But you will probably be the only person working on a particular bit of code base as they try and bootstrap themselves to getting their next funding round. So it does have the advantage that you'll get used to doing more things. But really the best way to get into coding at the moment is probably to build your own projects and showcase them. I got hired to run support for a small nationwide, mostly remote company at the start of the pandemic. The ticket system I inherited was a Google form, singular. I'm pretty chuffed with turning that heap of horse plop around, even if I left it pretty bare bones. Hey, so you should be, bud. I like that's something that big companies often understand pretty well is don't let perfect be the enemy of good enough. And they don't necessarily then deal with the upgrades afterwards, but a lot of companies will do very small business things, like very big businesses. 5 and 4, I think. So they'll just say, well, we need to get this done today. Who can put me together a Google form? Well, project team will just make this work. The problem is that as you grow, that's no longer fit for purpose, and businesses aren't very good, even at large scale companies, typically at reviewing their processes to then go back and say, actually, does this still work for us at scale? Are we just doing this Google form because we've always had to? And it's one of the advantages of hiring outside help, or as you bring in new team members, is that they'll start to ask questions like why, like a 4-year-old. And that's super useful when you're like, well, why are we using a Google form? Oh, well, we've always done it. Okay, well, that's a bad answer. What does it actually do? Where does the data actually go? Who tracks it? Is there a better way of doing this? How many hours does it take for you to bring in those Google forms and then deal with them? And how effective is the tracking? And at some point through the questioning, you tend to get to a point where they're like, oh, we should probably just get help desk software, right? You need a new addiction. I mean, I'm hoping to get to play lots of other games this week as well, bud. Unfortunately, I think some people see apprentices as cheap labour. Apprentices experience will vary greatly on depending on who you're working with, as well as the training provider. Yeah. How often do you build something quick and dirty that we'll review it and do it properly later, and then never do it because you've moved on to the next new shiny thing? Which, for those that don't work in tech, that's what technical debt is. When you hear companies talk about, oh, we have a fairly significant technical debt, it's because what that actually translates to is, yeah, we built a load of random stuff to hit deadlines and then never got round to fix it again. So all of our infrastructure is kind of held together by string and chewing gum right now. And we're fine as long as we don't go over a hard limit of 200 people using this thing. And when we do, everything will fall over, including our customer service system. But for now, it works. Like, it got the job done. We got given 4 days to do it. We delivered what we could do in 4 days, and we were told we'd be able to go back to it. Technical debt. You mean like this format dialog box in Windows? Shots fired. Look, Microsoft are only a small team. Couldn't possibly sort that sort of thing out, Mark. You ask too much, sir. Oh, pink, black, yellow label. I'll take the pulp soda out. I was recently informed by someone that works for an organization that has hundreds of millions in turnover that they couldn't possibly afford to pay someone to do the work they'd undertaken for them. Like, cool, I suppose. You realize they're just not going to work for you anymore, right? Oh, no, they're a committed member of the team. Like, no, they were a committed member of the team as long as you paid their salary. Did they do the work? Yes. Okay. Do they understand how much they would normally earn for that work? Yes. Excellent. Well, then pay them the freaking money. Maybe just get Copilot to make a Windows update. Oh, can you imagine though? Oh, one moment. Someone misdialed one of our help desk numbers on our emergency line to complain about company's house. That's what that phone call just coming into my phone was. I think we must be a digit off. Because we've actually out of this at the back, let's top it up ourselves. But yes, I think a lot of work from home stuff is going to see in 3 years or so a distinct lack of opportunity for juniors, which is already happening, and pretty much zero career progression for those people working from home in more junior roles, which sucks. 1, 2, 3. But seniors are going to have an awesome quality of life. We out of bleach again? No, but we will have... Let's go and see if I can dump this one cleaner on the shelf over here. No, I cannot. Damn it. Trying to condense down my shelves again where we had some slight overstocking before. There's our morning order done. Oh, I didn't spot that. So can we get these customers through a little bit faster? We open another checkout. Are any going to change queue? Did you see that Dell straight out made work from home staff ineligible for promotion? Yep. And I think that's going to keep happening. Like, Dell just said the quiet part out loud. The reality is, if you are not in the office, you are missing out on so many opportunities if you're a more junior member of staff. And there are loads of benefits to work from home. Like, not knocking it. Big fan. I have had a fully remote team for a pretty large chunk. Yeah, I think most of my team have been remote for years at this point. But that's only of benefit to them and me if they're already senior. And if you're trying to move up the ladder, or there's all those little opportunities, like when someone comes out of a meeting and goes, "Oh, insert name, do you mind doing this one thing for me?" And you're also less likely to get to speak to seniors and less likely to speak to senior management. And all those incidental conversations that are super important to career progression just don't happen if you work from home. Because, yeah, well, I don't want to bother my boss when he's at home. He could be doing other things. And I think particularly in development, the last thing you want is to the reason work from home works so well for seniors is they don't get disturbed. The downside to it is that juniors don't know when they can disturb them. Right. Oil, lager, pastry, palm. That'll do, I think. Hey, on says people have a little blind spot about the incidental conversation thing. It's the same. It's a massive loss on work from home era. Yeah, it really is, and it's like that's not a There are lots of people that complain about work from home for all the wrong reasons. Like when managers are, I don't know if people are actually working from home. Well, if they're not, you've hired wrong and you need to fire them. Like, really, truly. That's not a problem with working from home. Doesn't matter where they're working from. If they're not doing the job you're paying them to do and not raising their hand when they've got time to do other things, they're not a good fit for your team. But it's all the small things like the incidental conversations that actually do make an enormous difference to people's career progression. Get the loo roll out. And there, it's the same problem with, like, I work remote to quite a few of my clients at the moment, and I have the same challenge, right? The number of times that you'd be coming out of an in-person meeting with someone, and you can get like 90% of the stuff done working remotely, but that remaining part is really rough to actually, before I do that, do we have any more of that hiding here? We do have the keg. Oh yeah, we do. But yeah, when you're coming out of a meeting where you can see people's reactions to stuff, it makes such a difference. Because the number of times I would come out of a meeting with a group and just have that side conversation on the way out where it's like, oh, so-and-so said this in the meeting. I saw that you didn't look very comfortable with that. Like, oh, yeah, well, I don't think they understand X and Y. Well, without that conversation, you're missing that context, and that will trip you up in a few weeks' time. Even if they have a box of honey out already, we can definitely stock up with 5 more on there. So you lose the entire, not just career progression, but if one person could do it alone, you wouldn't need to hire people. You need teamwork, and work from home is a detriment to the teamwork dynamic. I think in a lot of cases, yeah, absolutely. And like work from home works super well for some people. It really does. And is a huge benefit. And there are some job roles, like particularly where they're working remotely with teams from an office. Like if you work in California and you're working with teams that are geographically disparate all over the world, the difference of you working in that office or not is minimal. Like, you may as well work from home. But if you're working in the same geographic location as the other people you work with, yeah, it's of huge detriment to the general output of the team. And it's why like I'm very pro work from home, but you do have to. There has to be like you have to look at the role and whether the role is suitable. And some people just need more supervision than others. Like honestly, call center staff working remotely. I support those that will let them do it. I think companies that do it will tend to have the same as between juniors and seniors in development, right? There's going to be some people that works bang on with. If you've got someone that's worked in your contact center for 5, 6, 7 years or longer, they're going to be A-OK working from home. They're going to bang through calls. You don't have to worry about them. You already have a feeling for how they work. If you are hiring new people constantly, there's one operation center I worked with that had recruitment every 3 months for 60 odd people. With a retention rate of about a third, you need that hands-on management time standing with them to kind of work through, give them help, give them the best chance for success that they can have. And if you don't do that, you're going to have a rough time with recruitment and retention. And the quality of service is going to drop significantly. And also people, is in human nature, frankly, to take the piss. And the more junior the role, the more likely you are to see it. So if no one's looking over your shoulder, like, was it Ford that said quality is what happens when no one's looking? If someone's work level keeps dropping off over time, the chances are they're probably not working to the fullest of their capacity while they're at home. And like some of the work from home arguments that have been pro work from home have been terrible arguments that people need to stop making them if they want to keep work from home. Things like childcare, sure, flexibility for childcare, absolutely A-OK. If you reveal to your boss that during your work hours you are supervising your 6 children and you're the only adult at home, then you're not working full time. You're doing effectively 2, maybe even some would argue 3 full-time jobs there. Like, it's a... So saying it's easier for childcare, so it's easier to arrange childcare, or you don't have to do the commute, A-OK. Have that discussion with your boss, definitely. But don't have the discussion about, well, I want to be at home full time to keep an eye on all of my kids, and I'm the only one doing it, because that will put your employer in a really weird situation. Sherlock says, you say I'm extra senior then? Are you asking if you're old, Sherlock? How are you, Sherlock? I see job adverts listed work from home fairly regularly. The problem with those is they mean that you may qualify to work from home every other Thursday after 3 months. Not even an exaggeration. I don't have a problem with policy being reality, but I don't call that work from home. No, I would say that's flexible working. Like, allowing someone to work away from the premises that the business operates on is flexible working. But that is not a work from home position if you're only allowed, like, to work from home one day in every X number of days. And I totally support. I think it is a work from home arrangement if you, or at least a flexible working arrangement, if you're going to say to staff, tabs. If you could say to staff that you're going to have to work in the office 1 or 2 days per period, whatever that period is, that's still work from home. Like if it's majority work from home and only going to the office for certain days. 3. But again, I think a lot of companies are going to... I think that you are seeing a lot of companies right now that are, if you look at the job cuts being made, are getting rid of all the people that are on more senior contracts and working from home. And then they'll re-advertise those positions at a lower salary because salaries in tech are dropping. And office-based only. Oh, we've sold a lot of vodka. Work from home not just hype term, but also has no weight to it, like no legal things. It depends. If your contract says that you're, and this is not legal or HR advice, and the law varies between jurisdictions, to be clear. If your contract states that you are a home-based worker, your employer can still change your contract. In the UK specifically, your employer can change your contract to whatever the hell they want it to be, if they give you enough notice. They just have to provide reasonable notice of change of terms, which you can think sucks, but that's the reality. But you have more of a leg to stand on if your contract says you're home office based. If your contract says you are based at our office address at Y in this position, then if they've allowed work from home, then they have made a temporary ongoing arrangement. And you could probably argue the toss in custom and practice, but you will probably lose. I will say the reason that you're stating for being less productive, Sherlock, because people come up to you and ask you questions, which is also, like, to be clear, one of the challenges that I used to have all the time when I would be going onto client sites, is actually nothing to do with work from home. It's to do with companies moving to open plan offices and not having clear indications of when someone's not available. You'd be amazed how much more you can get done when you're on site and you have an office with a closing door. And like, companies aren't going, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't have just done open plan offices for everyone. They go, oh, it's definitely this a reason to or not work from home. Your door will be 99% closed. Yeah, and I think that's A-okay. And also would indicate more generally that unless you are in meetings with people on site at those locations, which in your role you may well be, that you probably don't need to be in the office. One thing I did with one client was we had open hour days that we would effectively go and park myself in the middle of their open plan offices with a sign on my desk and point everyone to me on those days, because it then meant that everyone felt that I was accessible and could come up and just have a chat, but that wasn't all of my time, because that would not have been a good use of the client's money. Because it's important, like, if you are working in a team where you were working with other people, that you're accessible to those other people. Otherwise, you're really not working in a team. We are running low on loads of stuff again. I've worked in open plan teams where people had red flags up, you didn't want to speak to them. Yeah, and honestly, as long as everyone understands and doesn't feel it's a passive-aggressive thing, that's a brilliant way of dealing with it. There's, I saw a Kickstarter recently for something that was very similar. Ham, scallops, and salmon. Yeah, it was like this extra LED screen that you could attach to the back of your monitor and put emojis up on it. And like, this is going to revolutionize the office. You're like, I mean, sure. Well, you maybe while he's perfectly less productive, they want in there to spread knowledge and experience to increase the average productivity across the team. Someone has to answer those questions. Yeah, absolutely. That is also true. That if you are bringing in expertise and you're being asked to be there, they are dependent on role. You may be being asked to support those expertise. And like the sometimes conversation at desks don't, you don't need a meeting, you need a conversation at a desk, but sometimes you need people to actually book a meeting with you, because that one more thing can very easily turn into 20 more things. I was going to overstock on this. And yeah, I think there is that balance of like, what do you want people to do? You're absolutely right, Physics. Are you hiring people to just get the work done, or are you hiring them as managers, or are you hiring them to spread knowledge? Because those are different jobs, right? Let's get 2 of those. Just open the door. Did we change the prices today? I can't actually remember. You forgot. Thanks, MacDivine. That's an expensive way to say we didn't think a post-it note would be enough. Like, really, though. And it is a bit of a challenge more generally, where you're like, contact me anytime. Which, I prefer my team contact me. And if it's urgent, they phone me. Like, don't send an email and hope that I see it. Like, phone me. It's urgent, call me now. I'm there. But balancing that with then some people not understanding that what urgent is, and phoning every 2 minutes. Wine's gone up in price as well. We might have missed something else. Shout if you know what it is, but and that doesn't just apply to like staff people. That applies to like everyone. Every so often you have a client that's like, oh, I thought I'd phone you straight away because you said I could call you if you needed it. You're like, yeah, no problem. How can I help? Like, have you thought about doing this on Monday? I was like, well, you could have asked me that on Monday, not at 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. That, not urgent. My phone's flagging to ask for stickers. Oh, more samples arrived today. When would you guys like to do a Discord only stream to go through the samples and stuff so we can make some decisions on what you guys would like to see in the store and a bit of the behind the scenes? Because we're going to have some editorial being written, I'm hoping by Siakane, when she gets a chance. Kind of about designing and creating merchandise items for creators. Because Siakane and Slush have both been the artists that have worked on pretty much all of our work. We've had a couple of others, but out again on alcohol. Our alcohol is selling through. Thanks, delivery driver, for smashing those bottles all over the place. more of those away in a second, but I just need to find a spaghetti box as well, because it looks like we are low or out. Those are big boxes, but don't have very many in them. Hey, Amagan, pizza. Ooh. One of those change price, but we do need to probably get another box of that mixed pizza in. Let's do that. There we go. Oh. Chicken potato loo roll. How's bleach looking? Oh, we still got stock of that. I think they're just not prioritizing putting it out. Right. Gonna put more facings in the stock room, some of the alcohol, just to give us a chance to stock other things. Not because we desperately need it. We should be able to just more actively manage it. And our pile of shame at the back there. Hey, hey, fire. You can get 3 colours post-it notes. Yeah, would absolutely do the same thing, Harry. So I'm just catch up with chat while I've been running around doing this. So apologies if I haven't responded to a message yet. I promise I am looking. I have to scroll up a bit. Braxios, yes, I agree with you as well. If they have the skills and knowledge but are interrupting constantly about irrelevant stuff, they need managing and told to shut that up. Yes. You paid for one of your previous bosses back. Paid one of your previous bosses back for calling me at home for something urgent. She didn't understand the manager was tight. Understand the manager tight, and so called me the lead to explain something. I answered questions in the middle of the day. My sleep time. Oh, dude, the number of times I used to get woken up off night shift, being like, "Yeah, but it's like midday." You're like, yeah. And you're asking about something that was done at what time in the morning last night? Yep. So, what time do you think I went to sleep? I loved working shifts, but I didn't love people not realizing the middle of their workday isn't necessarily the middle of everyone else's. So in return, I called her at 1 or 2 a.m. to let her know our project made a hard left turn to the ditch. To give her an urgent heads up. She never called me at home again. Totally reasonable. Ooh, what were you wanting, sir? Can I help you? Sir? Okay. Well, he had some text above his head. One of each of those. Sorry. Fire says, hi, YouTube Mark. As because I can't truly complain about it. Yeah, it is difficult. Amit, lovely to have you here. Midday sharp is government lunch break time. Yeah, I know. Wait, Flanker sleeps? Seems sus, says Mark. I do try. I've been told I'm very trying. I'm not sure those are the same things. Fizz says, I thought it was silly that the senior manager would call me about a level 1 manager tie-in. I'm a lead. So the manager, not the other way around. Yeah, that is a bit odd. Oh, we're out of bleach again. Although we're not, because that is our... Oh, come on, put it down. There we go. Problem solved. Go and help out front of house. Probably too little too late, but you know. Do you really sleep or do you step into an alcove for your regeneration cycle? I think the law is that I sit on a chi charger, Harry, and I don't think the AI is smart enough to change queues yet. Someone asked you to have a manually, something that was a very manual, mentally draining job. It was the first time I ever said, do you know what it costs for your employer for me to do that? Yeah, I've had that discussion a few times. The problem is that people don't see sunk costs. Also, I sent an invoice very recently for a few tens of thousands of dollars that made one of our clients balk. He said, well, where did that come from? I said, you know that thing we told you would take 3 months and you want it done in one? Well, it took 3 months worth of man hours and we managed to do it in one. There's the overage charge. Like, is my phone making notification noises? No, I think it's a till, sir. Well, I said that and immediately I got a... The song works for you, phone. Pick up phone. My notifications I just got were in Slack, so apologies if someone heard Slack noises and suddenly panicked. It sounds like where I work, if my place of business wanted a baby in a month, they get 9 women pregnant. Yeah, that was a discussion that I'd had. That is the example I actually used. It's like, look, some things aren't linearly scalable with the amount of resource you throw at it. For example. Because there are some things you have to do in serial, and some things that you can do in parallel. Oh, one moment. I've also just discovered that apparently one of my numbers is 1 digit off a a nursing services phone number. One of the nurses will need to speak to you about this. Not me. You definitely don't need to speak to me about that. You know those areas of expertise I have? None of them are medical. I've also turned down the notifications on my phone as well, so if you do hear them, you should not hear them. It's a very directional mic. But if you have been, I apologise. Don't panic, Mark. Unless it is your phone, in which case, panic! We're going to do the bare minimum restock and then get ourselves open because I want to get our new product lines. Although I haven't thought of a polite place to stick them yet. Oh, our water's been popular. I can think of an impolite place you can stick them. I thought you'd be able to help with that. That's why I always value having you around, physics. Is it somewhere that they'd be protected from sunlight? Did you get around to building that second NAS? That is an excellent question. I can't remember which second NAS. So I haven't built the solid state NAS I was looking at. Mainly because I don't have a spare 3000 sitting around. And by the way, all the new Ugreen stuff only ships to Germany and the US. Rude. The ones with the drives are in the box. Yes. So I actually have spare drives. And I'm umming and ahhing about whether to build like a... Well, I currently have left over from another project a PC that does have a add-in card in it that I think has 8 terabytes and 2 terabyte high endurance drives in it. But it also has, I think, 12 or 16 hard drives. The green ones aren't clear if they allow you to change software. Yeah, they're probably not going to. 3 and 3. And like the Acer store, NAS looks really good value, although slightly underpowered. The one that they've done that's the all NVMe. I quite fancy one of those as a remote video editing machine. But they've got one 10 gigabit connection coming off the back of it. Which, to be fair, like some NASs only have 2.5 gig or one... oh, bad words. Right. There we go. Some only have like a single gigabit or 2.5 gig. But it would be nice if, for the capacity, if they would put a slightly higher end chip in, which I would pay the extra money for. Bread, chicken. Grab those kegs first, because we seem to be selling through this stuff a lot. The kegs don't make us a huge amount of profit, though. Which is a great example of a retail lesson. Just because you sell a lot of something, if you don't make enough margin at it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's worth selling. And currently, I think some of those kegs make us like $2 for a $26 on-shelf investment. It is not a good product, unless it is a tie-in product that people only come to you for the kegs and are buying lots of other stuff while they're there. In which case, that changes the maths quite a bit. Oh, numpty. I have a bit of an overstock down here. Because I ordered the wrong size of loaf, like a numpty. Are you joining for Northgard at 5, Einstein? Hey, Russ. Something with more PCIe lines would be nice. Yeah, the problem is that... or even just slightly higher end PCIe lanes. Like, I think they're Gen 3 by 1 PCIe lanes. Like, Gen 4 by 1 would have done fine. Then you could use a mid Ryzen. But as a solution for solid state drives, if you just had the drives lying around, like $800 is a steal. But if you're going to populate it with like 4 or 8 terabyte drives, which have come down in price a lot, but they're not free. Oh, we were so close. That was our license figure there. We're at level 60. Kelly, lovely to have you here. Are you only streaming on Twitch? I'm not following one of your conversations. No, stream on YouTube as well, Physics. Because the... and it is a Twitch terms of service thing, which is the only reason you can't see the conversation. The tech exists, where I could switch and show both sets of chat at the same time, but it is specifically against Twitch's terms of service. You can multi-stream, you can't just mingle chats. I'll try and make it more clear where it's a YouTube-only discussion. But Kelly, lovely to have you here on YouTube. I may have accidentally stuck a chicken box there at some point. Right. You shouldn't do this until the end of the day. I think we're going to go for this one. Because although we do have ice cream, pizza, veg. How much? 1, 2. We've got 3 empty slots. We could condense those 2 to get 5. We can't really condense down the chicken anymore because that will just keep selling out. Yeah, I think we're going to go for the cheese one and buy a fridge. Let's buy the fridge now. Oh, we can't buy the fridge now because we have to wait till the following morning. You're obsessed with watching this game. It is a pretty good time. It's quite a relaxed game. I quite enjoy it. Well, relaxed other than the manic running around, you know. Other than all the stress. It's quite relaxing. Need more peanut butter. Like, at least put the flour on the order. And a double-sized fridge. The worst case scenario, we can just dump in the middle of the floor. Because I don't think there's any of these fridges I'd want to change over what's in them. Right, at least we seem to have plenty of... Let's condense that. There we go. Plenty of vodka now. Out of bleach again. Let's do that. It's relaxing to watch. Nice. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's something I'm going to be still playing fairly regularly until I've unlocked more of the supermarket chain. Having said that, we'll be switching over in a second to Northgard. Oil, toilet paper, and chocolate bars. Well, let's sort out the oil, toilet paper, and chocolate bars so I don't forget. I haven't forgotten what I just said. Nuh-uh. Toilet paper, that's what it was. I knew it was something that we sell a lot of. Right, so let's get our next product license bought. And we did already buy the fridge. Okay, so temporary measure. It should not be here. I think what I'm going to do is move one of these fridges. I'll convert to being entirely beer. And then I'll move that to the end of the aisle and move all of the stuff up a little bit. So we've got more rice, clotted cream, pasta penne, yogurt, sugarcane, cheese parm, and cheese. Let's purchase all of that stuff. We'll get the last of this done. Do I actually have space where we've already arranged sugar and things? I can reduce the density of sugar we're holding for some of this stuff. We'll set ourselves up a new pile of shame over in this corner. Okay. I think I want to try and get that sugar onto that shelf there. This might go disastrously for us because it's going to mean we're more likely to sell out of some of these products.
I say, old chap, I think those raiders mean to do
FG! If you're not already following the incredibly talented FG Squared, you absolutely, definitely should do as an FG Square Otter Raid. Lovely to have you here, FG.
Square just subscribed. FGS arrive, FGS go go, FGS rave, FGS arrive, FGS go go, FGS rave. It's an Otter F squared raid.
It's an Otter F squared raid.
FGS go go, FGS rave, FGS arrive, FGS go go, FGS rave.
It is lovely to have you here, FG. As always, how are you? And how did you enjoy Necrosmith 2? I will definitely forget that I've done that. You're great. I'm glad to hear it. We need to arrange meeting up again soon, TM. Also, this is future planning. We're planning on going to Bath in November again, if you fancy joining. See, occasionally, very occasionally, planning happens in advance. And I can't claim it's down to me, but, you know, it happened. So you've just caught us as we've expanded our range. We're about to switch over to Northgard in a few moments, as soon as I make sure that all of these things are done. So that was rice. We need another box. More boxes. Uncle Tony's. Love it. Well, Uncle Tony's is clearly the brand name here. You did the new Forever Skies update first, then we chilled with some Necrosmith 2. Good fun. Awesome. Flanker playing Christmas in April. I kind of am. It's the Christmas markets I'm planning. More cheese. Grommet. There, I think. Right. Let's go and put that back on the shelf out back. There, that'll do. Yogurt. Damn it. I had a place to be saving for this on the shelf and I've just taken out something else. Let's, full yeet the box up there. There we go. We're going to need... wrong shape of box. So now I've got to play the game of what shape box do eggs fit in? That one. There we go. Not possible you're not here then. But rude. Right about that you need the bathroom. That is entirely reasonable. That goes there. That goes... Oh, almost managed it. Let's step back a little bit and... nailed it. First try. Yep, yeah, that box is definitely going to be fine. And we got another cheese here. I need to find another cheese hole. Giggity. Health and safety at work there. In fact, if we take that off there, put that there, do that, then the yogurt's all on that one. That's got the cheese on it. And this box... Oh, of course I've still got one in it. In fact, I can sort that though. One moment. I think someone has done a wrong email footer. I've been getting calls all day for random people I've never heard of. Ah, damn it. Wrong box. Ah. Sugar. Did I put the thing? Is a cheese hole where you put cheese or where you get cheese from? I agree with physics. Yes. We are so broke right now. Right, let's put that there. These were restock items. Ah, damn it. I need another box. Is it this size? I can't actually remember. It is! Huzzah! Right. I'll charge the full price on that. That one... Well, those are definitely worth having in stock, making $1.10 per. Right, okay. Let me get back to chat. So, one moment. Guppy and Dragon, Flamethrower, Finn, that's such a good name. Das Marius, Der Puma, Infinity Simplex, Rico Bako, lovely to have, or Rico Bako? I'm really sorry if I've got that wrong. Lovely to have you over. Thank you for coming over in the raid. Einzuzai, welcome back in the raid again. And yes, so here is the cunning plan that we have for the stream. We've just managed to get our store upgraded for those who have just come over. So we're at store level 60. And we're trying to get our additional licenses. So this will be the next license we're going after, which will be for green beans, ice cream vanilla, some more ice cream, some more pizza, potato pops, and veggie mix. So we'll need an extra freezer, or potentially two. And then we're going to try and expand our store again, because we definitely need more space. Because for all the stockroom work that we've done to try and condense down our stockroom, means we're going to need a lot more space out front of house. Oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. So we've tried to put a huge density of stock of things that run out easily out front. And if we've got a small density of stock out front because they don't sell a huge amount or a lot fit on the shelf, so you need one shelf, we've got a lot more out back to try and prevent us running out. And there is Cody's floor sushi. And this is definitely a shelving unit. It doesn't fit here, but you know, we're using it as a shelf. See? Look, there's... See? Still being used as a shelf. Everything's fine. Let's see if we can afford 2 more kegs, because I'll forget about those if I don't. And now we are truly stony broke again. And we have put out alcohol was the last thing we got before this current upgrade. So just against there, out of sight, out of mind. So we have got quite a lot of kegs out front of house because, well, there's not many of them fit onto a shelf. And the loo roll we have loads of out back. So here is the cunning plan. We're going to be switching over in just a few moments to Northgard. Everyone's welcome to join for that as well. If you're over on Twitch watching, then you just stay exactly where you are. And we'll be back in a few moments. If you're watching over on YouTube, there's a new stream that's already up that you can go and highlight. And we'll see you in just a few moments. But I will leave you with some Northgard music while we quickly do the changeover. So I'll be back in just a moment. We'll be playing some PvE Northgard. Everyone can join. If you want to join us, just head on over to Discord at discord.gg/Imaflanker. The links are down below. And I will see you in a few moments if you jump into the stream waiting room. Right. And now to sort all this out, I'll be back in just a few moments. I may have just exited without saving on my supermarket chat. Oh no. I believe the appropriate sound effect is womp womp. I'll join Northgard as a spot. It's been a while. Yep, jump on in, Daft.